Come on. How you want it, cognac or Patron? Brunch with the boys, we gon' give you what you want. And what you don't know, we about to put you on. Come on. How you want it, cognac or Patron? Brunch with the boys, we gon' give you what you want. And what you don't know, we about to put you on. Yes, we are the trending topic. We relationship prophets. Brunch with the boys, we the hottest. Brunch with the boys, we the hottest.
What's going on? It's your boy King Des here. Another episode of Brunch with the Boys. I'm so happy to be here this evening. We got a special guest, but first, what's going on, gentlemen?
Jeezy, what's good, everybody?
Hey, it's Mr. Gent out. Cheers.
Man, I'm
Way
so
too much.
sorry.
Way too much. You know what? But we're not going to give that nigga no time. We're going to talk about the special guest, plural with an O on the end that we have tonight. So, our first guest?
Who we got?
Hey, man, we got Nisha.
No,
what?
nigga.
I know I did
She
that
just
purposely.
told you.
No, I did it purposely.
He didn't do it
I know I
purposely.
did it purposely because she told us not to do it like that. It's Niza.
Yeah, I don't like when people add extra letters.
I know it's
easy.
Niza.
Oh, yeah, I got you. Because we did have a
just
conversation
talked
about the
about
spelling
it.
of her name. I get it.
But-
that's a nigga with a bad sense of humor.
It-
Horrible.
Why y'all got to
We
do
all
me
were like,
that?
why?
No, seriously.
What?
It doesn't matter whether
Those are the jokes you
it didn't
make
matter.
that keep you from getting the pussy that night. That's the turning point.
And let me just
of
tell
the
you
night
something.
right
I'm going to
there.
make this very clear. I have never been denied pussy if I want it. Let's just make that very, very clear today.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. And you know
That
my
was-
credentials. Everyone on this motherfucker knows my credentials.
Yes, we do.
We also know who was offering you it, and no one else would
Listen,
have
I
wanted
had one ugly girl in my. You know what? I'm
What?
not doing this
What?
today.
You got to stop the
No, it is one.
Anyways,
Berto, if you have never been denied, man, that means you ain't shooting that shot enough.
Wait your turn until we formally announce
We
you.
about to
But
we about to turn
right
this up.
now we have Niza from the "Sorry I Offended You" podcast, and we are very excited to have her here today because we have what I believe is going to.
I'm going to
be
interject 1 second. It's Nisa.
thank you, Nisa.
With Sorry
Okay,
If
my
I
bad.
Offend You podcast.
It wasn't.
So thank you.
It wasn't that.
Straight
No, you
name.
added
Wow.
extra letters. You pronounced it wrong. And you added extra letters to my podcast name, too.
Listen,
Straight that
I've been
nigga
drinking a
out.
little
I
bit.
thought that
but
you were my biggest fan.
I was, but I've been drinking a little
You
bit.
that-
told me you was
is-
listening to it.
I
He
actually
didn't listen to shit.
I've listened to 3 episodes. That's-
Right. You
yeah.
didn't know the name by then?
So you gonna check me right now? I'm
Yeah.
live
No,
there.
she need
I felt
to.
like I
That's
needed
fine.
to. I had to get my respect.
Listen,
You know what?
It was too
Take it how
many
you
mistakes.
live, baby.
It was too many mistakes, Nisa. I was gonna come with you. You
Take
can't.
it
Thank
out-
you. I
take it how
felt
you
it.
live,
I was like,
man.
somebody
Yeah.
else
Take it how
sees
you
it.
live.
I'm going to
Yes.
just,
I enjoyed
I'm going
that.
to try. He got mad at the
Hey,
cute
man,
comment.
take the
I'm
mic.
not.
Take the mic from that nigga, man.
No, we ain't gonna take it because
So
I
Nisa-
still have one person to still announce, man.
Nisa, tell us a
We're
little bit about your
sorry, Paul.
podcast real quick.
Okay, so my podcast, I call it an everyday podcast. It has been so that it is a little raunchy. Basically, I say what the fuck I want, when the fuck I want, and how the fuck I want. And if you don't like it, you don't have to listen to it. But you want to listen to it because everybody loves my voice, everybody loves me, and that's just what the fuck it is. And I have
what's up.
merch that I've been dropping. I am putting on my website soon. You can look it up at sorryifoffendyou.com. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you for joining
I've
us
been
tonight.
working. Thank
We
you.
appreciate you. What's up with our other guest? This nigga. What's his name?
We just gonna call him PC. You like that? You know what I'm saying?
That was
I
anticlimactic.
prefer 5 keys. I go by 5 keys.
This nigga.
We're not doing that today. We're not doing that today. You don't know nothing about 5 keys. You don't play the piano, and you don't know how to sell nothing.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna call you PC today. But we have PC straight out of Seattle right now. He's tapped into the phone lines. He actually brought us this topic, so we wanted to make sure that we brought him on to, share his interesting perspectives.
We
So,
gonna let him set it up?
yeah, for sure.
So, PC, tell us a little bit about what you wanted to talk about and what you thought would be a good topic for us tonight.
To tell the truth, I can't remember what the topic.
He was smoking. Don't
Oh,
worry.
Lord.
That's why we have Jeezy here, man. That's why we have
I thought
Jeezy.
you were sober.
I am, but I just can't remember how we kind of.
Oh, fall
had a
back.
crazy day,
Fall
huh?
back, man.
All
Fall
the way back?
No, yeah. Tell him
Listen,
to fall
so
back.
what we were talking about
Yes,
was
sir.
equity within a relationship.
True.
Okay, yeah.
And nigga like, yeah, I told you. Relationship equity examines whether what the parties in a relationship get out of the relationship is equal or greater to what they put into it. So you basically are seeking balance in the relationship, and every healthy relationship is successful if that balance exists. So, I know we were talking about this in a text message, and I want to jump it off from the beginning and say that I believe women are more emotionally selfish than men, and because of that equity in the relationship is difficult to obtain, because their emotions are working against them essentially to have that balance. And this is not every woman, so I don't want to generalize entirely. I just want to say that most women, is what I said.
Yeah.
Most women. That's not every. And nigga, you laughing at that, but most is
you know what's
himself
crazy? I didn't say
away.
anything.
Okay.
So do you want me to respond or you want to continue?
No, go ahead, respond,
Okay.
because you're going to
So-
stop kissing your teeth at me.
No,
nigga.
you're kissing. I mean, listen. The first thing you said was women. So when you say women, you're making generalizations, right? But we're going to take this. We're going to take this away. I don't think
Yeah, hold
that.
on.
What?
Can we just say with the generalizations, like we're talking about 93%, the other 7%?
That's fine.
just-
I think there's still generalization, so it's not a complete generalization, but 93% is enough to classify as a generalization.
I don't even know how you got that number, but
Yeah,
continue
yeah.
on.
So
But I think-
percentage.
But here's the thing, though. You guys made a statement, right? So you guys made a statement that you think that women are more emotional in relationships. And what I would say is, what do we define as emotion, right? Because anger is an emotion. Selfishness, I guess selfishness isn't an emotion per se. But my point is that men, I think, emote just as many emotions in a relationship as women. If we're talking about jealousy, if we're talking about sensitivity and things like that, then maybe women may produce
And
those
I-
a little bit more.
and I
That's
don't
my point.
Yeah,
though.
I don't
my
think you're
point
saying
was
that.
emotional selfishness, and I
Okay.
think that's different in the fact that a woman will let her emotions drive the logic out of the situation to the point where what he wants or what he needs doesn't matter because her feelings are being prioritized. And I think a lot of women, you'll bring it to your girl right now, and please, you tell me if I have this incorrect. And you'll say, hey, man, I'm really feeling this type of way about that. And this could be my experience. So the fact is, I didn't want to generalize, and you were right about that. But what I'm saying exists. And as soon as you go to her with that, and she says, you know what? When you did this, you always do that. And you do this. And all of a sudden, y'all talking about the issues she has with you, and you came to her about your problems. And I think that's an emotional, selfish type tactic where immediately your feelings are being pushed to the side and hers are being prioritized.
That's what do you think?
What you think about that, Nisa?
We're gonna pick one way to say my name, everybody. It's
Nisa?
Nisa. You got it. You
Okay,
said Nessa,
Nisa.
and then you started to say my name, and you didn't say it.
Okay. Did that make you uncomfortable too?
No,
Good,
I'm
good.
just being selfish in my emotions.
I
You
can
want me to
sense
say
that.
your name? I get you. We'll talk later, girl. We'll talk later.
Okay.
Off camera.
What?
Honestly, I don't know. I feel like I've put other people's emotions, especially the male that are in my life, before my own a lot of the time. So I can't relate to that specifically, but I will say in like friendships, I'm kind of like that because I'm a giver, and when I want to say no, I don't ever say no. So I always say yeah, or I say it's okay until somebody else points out something minor that I do, and then I say, bitch, you did it to me. So what? Like, you want to count all those times that you did everything that you don't like because you did it to me. But I'm just pointing it out now because I didn't give a fuck before. But now, since we on the subject,
Yeah.
Right.
I think
And it
that's what
suits
that
you.
turns into. Like, okay, so now since we complaining, what's up?
Yeah, but that's,
I don't like this.
That's immaturity.
Well, you know what?
Let's keep it real. That's
don't-
immaturity.
Can I just put it like a different way? Like the way I was kind of looking at this when we were talking about this on the text is the following. Like, look, if you were to take a person and just chop off their head, right? Like from their neck down, they only have the feeling of touch, right? And so your heart is down there, and the only thing you have is the feeling of touch. From the neck up, you got all 5 senses. And what I'm trying to say is men are better generally at understanding the combination of 5 senses and justifying why certain things are done. Whereas women are more inclined to follow their heart, right? And so like the heart follows the brain.
So he's
It
talking
just-
about
it's
you're
just
talking about
illusion.
intuition versus logic, basically.
Right. And that's what I'm getting after. It's like for the women kind of control they try to control relationships through these
Through emotions, basically.
these illogical things. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you can't justify what's going on in the heart. Like all you could do is try to make sense of it amongst your five senses. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, if we can't make sense of it, it's sort of just this nebulous kind of space where it's like, okay, what the fuck? You know?
Well, you talk like a Buddhist.
Women tend to
Right. I said, can you give us a simple real life?
Talking like a Buddhist out
For
here.
real.
You know what I'm saying?
Give me a real life situation that you can apply what you just said.
Yeah, tell them about what you were talking about.
Well, it's just, I think, Niza, you were talking about it a little bit, right? Where you're a giver, right? You are a supporter in general and everything like that. So you are more inclined to be like, give.
Right.
But when you notice somebody is taking, you're more inclined to not say anything either until the moment comes where they seem a little bit ungrateful. Then you start to pull back and you start to get frustrated and they ask you why and you can't articulate why, right? Well, maybe
Not all the time, but I guess
general,
that's possible.
Say it again?
I said not all the time, but that's definitely like a possibility.
Right. Yeah, and that's what I'm getting at. In general, people be like, look, you just pissed me off over this little simple thing. But they don't understand why, because over time, they've just been giving. And they've been kind of building up this bank account of resent. And then all of a sudden, one day there's the straw that breaks the camel's back. But then you're like, what the fuck did I do wrong?
You know what?
And it's like, oh, you fucking came in the house with your shoes on.
You know what,
You
PC?
take off your shoes.
PC, I completely get that because I know I'm that way. I know that I am naturally a giver, right? I'm naturally accommodating. I'm naturally someone who's going to put my significant other above myself. Therefore, I'm going to give. And the problem is what happens with givers, and especially if it's a codependency type of giver, but we're looking for reciprocation, right? And so if you don't get that reciprocation, what's going to happen is, you're either going to express it, and a lot of people don't express it in the moment. They'll hold on to it, and then they, like to your point, you said they're building this backlog of it, or they just allowing that shit to fester, and then one day the bitch can come in and fucking fry the chicken and burn the chicken, nigga, and you be like, bitch, you don't know how to cook shit, dog. I'm so tired of this shit. You don't know how to do nothing right. Get the fuck out the kitchen. I can't stand your monkey ass. You know what I'm saying? So it turns into something that it didn't even need to if you really kind of address the feelings. But I know another piece of that is your concern is if I address the feelings, is she even going to hear me, or is she just going to give a more of a fuck about what the fuck she feels like, right? So that's kind of what I feel like you're saying.
I mean, to that point, you know what I'm saying? Like, look, you could listen to what somebody's heart is attempting to say, or you could hear what's coming out of their mouth. And Niza, to use the example here, earlier they called you Niza, whatever, right? At the end of the day, you calling me. So I really don't care what you call me, as long as you're addressing me with respect. So that's part of some of the issue is a lot of times we get caught up in words as opposed to really trying to understand the integrity of somebody's intent and understand what they're trying to get after.
Right, but I think that you have to deliver it with respect too to get a respectful response. That's how a lot of arguments happen, because people react with what they want to say, but not how they want to say it. So it starts an argument. Like if you're yelling at me, I'm going to fucking yell right back at you. I'm not going to focus on, okay, you're upset about this. Let me try to talk to them. Whereas if you were like, hey, I really need to speak to you. Like, I just want to talk. Let's not argue. Let's just get our points across and then go from there. Somebody's going to be like, all right, I'm going to listen first. And it's all about how you say it. Like, hey, I don't like when you wear shoes in the house because I swept and I mopped and all this extra stuff after work and I'm just tired and I don't want more of a mess. So help me out by not keeping your shoes on, versus you fucking need to stop keeping your shoes on when you walk through my fucking door. Because that's how it normally happens. Like, bitch, take your shoes off when you come in this house.
You got to know how to handle the people
But I
you deal
do
with.
think you also need to understand and calibrate yourself. Just like we were talking earlier. Like, if you know me, I'll speak loud, I'll speak with passion and those kinds of things. So you can't, after you know me 10 years or whatever, be like, damn, don't raise your voice with me. I've been raising my voice in every single conversation we have, whether we mad at each other or happy with each other. You know what I'm saying? So again, it comes back to understanding the integrity of intent and hearing what the person's heart is trying to say, as opposed to how it is coming out of
Des,
their
what's your
mouth.
thoughts, man? What's your thoughts?
You know what? In retrospect, I don't think I'm a good person for this conversation. I don't experience this. I really don't. And I don't even agree with something Paul said about, PC said about Words. First of all, I'm the person in a relationship that says words mean things. Words mean things. And so, and so for me, I'm very, very deliberate in what I say and what I communicate. I'm thoughtful about things I'm going to say to somebody, and so I expect the same in return. And so when you say something to me, I'm the opposite. I don't give a fuck what you mean. I'm listening to what you're telling me. I don't deal with children, right? So I deal with adults. And at this point in our lives, every adult knows the language that we communicate in and should have a mastery of it. And so if you don't know how to communicate with me, that's a fucking personal problem that you need to fix.
So
right?
your anger has never gotten the best of you, where you have said some shit outside of what you wanted to intentionally
say.
say.
I'm gonna say what Paul said, right? There's an exception to every statement, right? So in my decades of living, has it? Yeah. But as a matter of me communicating, interacting with others, no. And like me being angry doesn't mean I don't say what I mean either. Right, I can be angry and say exactly what the fuck I mean. And when I'm not angry, I will say, yeah, I meant to say what I said. I didn't say it because I was angry. I said it because that's what I wanted to say at that point. The second thing is, I'm not in relationships where these things, the kind of situations that PC has thrown up happens. And it's not because there aren't women that doesn't happen with. I don't deal with those situations. and y'all know me well enough to say that. Like I
know you about to shut down, bro.
And it's not. Let me finish. And it's not because I'm too good for it. It's just that I don't like drama and bullshit in my relationships. I don't argue. I don't get into fights. I don't do that. I'm not doing that. And so for me, I'm not willing to put up with somebody where I feel like that's going to be something that's prevalent in the relationship, right? If they can't get on the same page.
Said a different way, you don't care about anything enough to fight for it.
No, I think that's incorrect.
So what does it look like when you're fighting for something?
Well, I think you're talking about fighting for something. I think using words to explain your position is something I do all the time. I think it's what adults do in regular communication. And I'm in relationship. Let me finish talking. And I'm in relationships where the individuals that I'm communicating with, I'm able to have that. I'm able to say what my point is in a civilized fashion, so it doesn't get to arguments. I'm just being honest. I don't fight. I don't argue. I've told y'all this before this podcast, right?
No, I know you told me that on several.
Am I making that up?
No, you're not. You're not making that up. But when you say you don't fight, dog, it is called you shut down. You shut it all down. You be like, I'm not listening to this shit. Like you'll say you'll shut it down in that capacity. Like I'm not dealing with this.
But I think that's byproduct. I think that's why I don't fight. And I'll give you another example. Right? It may happen in a different way. But let me finish. When I was a kid, my dad didn't fight with my mom. If my mom was yelling and getting all crazy, my dad would
give her the energy.
My dad would take a walk. He was just like, hey, you know what? Like, I'm not going to have you talking to me like this. I'm going to take a walk. He didn't yell. He didn't raise his hand. He took a walk. So, I mean,
smart move for him.
Kudos to him.
So at the end,
I do not possess that type of restraint.
About, right? Because you get to that point where somebody's like, no, let me walk away, right? But you have to understand that at that point, too, the issue isn't resolved. And so if you decide whenever you decide to blow off steam, check, right? You still have that issue that needs to be resolved. And to me, that's where that real important point is. It's like, okay, we could agree to disagree. We could talk passionately about things. I could fight for what I believe in. And at the end of the day, you know, if I say something like just in my passion, you need to understand me enough to know that I'm not trying to use my sword against you. I'm just trying to convey my passion about something. And so at the end of the day, if we're trying to meet each other in the middle, then we're going to need to compromise on that.
Well,
if we just want to agree to disagree, then that's fine too. As long as it doesn't impede me from living my life the way I want to live it.
Every couple is different in their interaction. And I mentioned, I always say everyone wants to be handled. So the same argument I have with you may go differently than an argument I have with her. So I can raise my voice at one woman and not cuss or call her out of her name, but just, you know, elevate my voice and she hears my message while another woman only hears my tone. So I think it's really just about the dynamic of the relationship. And this is why Des can speak so passionately from his perspective, is that nigga has gotten lucky and or chose wisely so that he's never had to really allowed himself to stay in a situation where, you know, he was with someone who didn't know how to handle his emotion. Because the fact is, if you were with someone who, when you shut shit down like that, they didn't handle it well, you couldn't be with that person.
Right.
You need someone that understands that dynamic, manages it, and moves accordingly so that at some point you communicate what was really wrong, and now you're not shutting down. Now you soft as a goddamn big-ass bear. Yeah, of course, baby. No, you was right. No, I love it. And you eating the pussy. So I think it's, again, comes down to the dynamic between those people, and that PC is where you and or I and many may have fucked up, you know what I'm saying, and stuck out with someone where that dynamic wasn't what it should have been.
I don't think it's a fuck up.
It is a fuck up, Paul.
It's a question of, look, like, are you incapable of fixing the problem, or are you unwilling?
Oh man,
You know,
I totally agree.
Nah, he agrees
you
with
are
that.
right.
I know.
I agree.
I know
and
that's
you know
close to
what's
his heart.
you know why I say it feels like a fuck up? Because when you're with someone who is capable yet unwilling, and remember we talked too about two languages, right, PC, where you were saying what someone's words are versus their body language, right? So they're saying, yeah, I want to, and I'm going to, and their body language and their actions are doing nothing. You know what I mean?
So totally dissimilar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say. So that's where that mindset comes, where it's like, nigga, is it really, we fucking up? You know what I mean? We're wasting time.
And that's the important thing, too, because that's an important distinction. They say 93% of conversation happens non-verbally, right? That means 93% of conversation.
That stat is actually true, unfortunately.
What am I saying to you right now?
Right?
Okay, so can I say something without me being...
Sure.
We won't jump all over you, I swear.
You're giving me very much I date white women vibes, and I see why I got that when I came in. I know you guys, like, I had to hear
not you, P.
the explanation of it to understand it and be like, okay, maybe not. But I come from, like, a very strong-willed woman. So if somebody talks to her with a crazy tone, that honestly, what else do you hear? I think tone is disrespectful. You know when you talk to somebody, and you don't have to talk to them in a loud tone. Me being like, okay, so you're late again? I'm not yelling. I'm not saying anything, but my tone is disrespectful.
Yeah, it still hit.
Like, it still hits. And the message is, hey, you know, I wanted you here at a sooner time. You know, you kind of disrespected my time, which hurt my feelings. But instead of me saying, like, hey, you hurt my feelings, I'm telling you, like, you fucking disrespected me and I don't like it. Because that's what you feel at the moment. So why don't you
just say that?
Because then it's just that could start an argument too. It's honestly, it's being subliminal. And a lot of times women are subliminal because I'm subliminal as fuck. Because you think that you're avoiding the argument. I think that we want to make you guilty.
That's the heart of this conversation right there.
But you said you want to make us guilty. Do you think you're being successful in your point? Do you think that form of what I believe to be manipulation works successfully?
I don't think I'm manipulating anybody if I'm saying that. I just feel like I'm getting my point across without having to tell you exactly.
If a car salesman tries to sell your car, hold on. A car salesman tries to sell you a car and he doesn't give you details directly. He, in a roundabout, says this that doesn't really say this, but doesn't really say that, and you find out later what it is. Was he being dishonest? Instead of being direct and saying, hey, this is what it is, you want to accomplish something, but you want to go a roundabout way.
No, because usually he says sorry, and then I'm like, it's okay.
Okay, if it's that easy, pull the dick out and put it in the mouth, fella.
Hey,
some women actually like to be handled that way, by the way.
Hey,
in the middle of an argument when shit is going bad, they don't want to do all that talking, nigga. They want to be fucked.
Well, and that's, to me, a certain element of this where it's like, all right, you want to play guessing games. Apparently, you like that a little bit. If you want to play guessing games and that you enjoy that to some extent, just say that. You know what I'm saying? But you have to also understand that somebody on the other side may not be interested in playing a game of cat and mouse.
I just feel like, okay, but if you wouldn't want somebody to do something to you, you don't do it to them. So instead of arguing and yelling and screaming and being the angry person, I'm just going to be subliminal. And then if you feel like, okay, maybe you notice you hurt my feelings, you'll say sorry. People understand you when they want to. Somebody can understand your tone of voice, exactly what you mean, what you say, and the message behind it. And sometimes the tone of what you say isn't how it's meant to be. So that's where you have to learn to communicate. But if you can adjust how you speak to somebody to get your message across without having to say it exactly, why not?
I remember us having
sometimes it's not worth the deeper conversation, so you just want to say it.
Sorry.
No, you're good. It's all right.
What I'm saying is I'm trying to cut through the bullshit and get straight to the point, right? And so for me, it's like, let's not play the guessing game. And again, I get it. If you only met me today, then you wouldn't know that about me. I'm a person that's like, look, my trust is yours to lose, but once that good girl's gone bad, she's gone forever. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I'm like, look, let's not play these games. You know, if you're upset with me, tell me you're upset. Then I will try to understand what I did to upset you such that I never do that again. Because the way I see it is I want to protect my peace. That's the thing that's most important to me. And I don't like anybody enough to let them take that from me. You know what I'm saying?
All right, PC. So, like, I think that this is a learned behavior. That at least this is my perspective. I think it's more of a passive, slight aggressive approach. And we talked about this in a podcast when we were talking about passive aggression, and that this may be a tool that women have used and has been a learned behavior through time. From passed down from mother to daughter and so forth, because it's something that's seen that at the end of the day, it's always been a situation, to your point about respect, right? Mm-hmm. And that women don't like to openly disrespect their man, but what they can do is
I don't think I'm part of that percentile.
No, I never said that you were.
Okay.
I'm not saying that you were, but I'm just saying, and I'm definitely speaking in generalities. But
97%.
I'm not going to use the 97% because PC has used that too many times, right?
He said 93.
He said 93 the last time? Okay, all right. But I just think that it's a tool for them to be able to address a situation, however, not be disrespectful. And we may view it later on as you don't communicate well or as manipulation or whatever the case, because we've called it a couple of things at this point. But the reality is, it's maybe just a tool that they've utilized because they've seen it done before to help get a message across, whether we like it or not. This is what has probably been taught and handed down to them. And I think we need to play a little bit of devil's advocate because men have learned behaviors too that have been passed down from our fathers and or not, right?
Realistically, like alcoholic fathers, they breed alcoholic sons. Honestly, like their relation, not all the time, but a lot of the times it is. You watch your father be that man and you swear you're never going to be that man, then you turn into that man.
We all swear that.
A lot of the times it's just a person, you swear you're never going to be this person. Like, same thing with me. I grew up in the household I did. I have a lot of characteristics now that are just like my mom's that I was like, I would never do that. Mm-hmm. And now I'm doing that shit. Like, I'm learning as I get older to communicate better, do things like that, but it's learned behavior of what you grew up around.
I still think you have a choice.
Right.
I think it comes down to it.
I think when you get older, it changes.
Yeah, and we're all adults here. You know, I don't think it takes 30 years for you to figure it out. I believe once you notice something that you see and say, man, I don't want that and I want different, you can choose to do different. And if you make mistakes, you can't even push it off on what you saw. You know, that's a cop-out, you know.
People don't care that much, though, realistically. Who cares? Not who, because I've learned recently to adjust how I am, how I speak to people, things that I do in certain situations. I choose more what I react to now. Like, I'm less argumentative, stuff like that, because it's drama. Yeah. Drama is the worst shit to have in your life because it's exhausting. I want to be happy as much as I fucking can. Right. You know what I mean?
What
like,
you're saying is that you're self-aware, right?
Now, but that's recent.
Yeah, well, of course, that happens over time. We're all like monkey see, monkey do until we do, like, start to become aware of our environment, right? And so, but when we do become aware, that's when we start making choices. And the choice, I think, ultimately is, hey, I want to be free, I want to be happy and everything like that. And these are the things that contribute to my happiness. And these are the things that take away my happiness.
Right,
and
but not everybody.
If you make a choice to avoid those things that take away your happiness, then you're like, check, you know. But then, you know, there's also some people in your life that you want to spend time with, right? But their behaviors might make it hard for you to be around them. So in those cases, you might want to work with that person to try to improve the experience for the both of you.
Respect, bro.
You fresh. Your therapist told you all that. Yeah. I'm like, damn, you just spit a lot.
Straight out of textbook.
Right. I was like, Jesus.
Des, let me ask you this. Do you think it's possible to have a 50-50 relationship, a truly 50-50? You think that's realistic?
You mean in pretty much every aspect?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is.
You think that's a prominent thing or a rarity?
I clearly am in minority in a bunch of shit we talking about, so I don't know. I mean, that's what I look for in relationships. So for me, it's not abnormal. That's what I'm looking for. Like I don't, and I'm not saying most men do this, but like I don't care if a woman's a professional or if she makes more money than me or like I don't care about any of that stuff. Like I only care about how she treats me and if we have like shared goals, and things like that. And I also think when you have people who are equally invested in a relationship and bring equal amounts to the relationship, I think the relationship works much more efficiently. At least in my experience, but some people don't want that, and so I respect that. But for me, that's the norm.
And I'll agree with that because for me, I believe initially that I didn't want equity, right? I'm going to be honest with you.
Nigga, we know.
No, I know. You're like a caveman, dog.
First off, I'm not dragging my knuckles like that,
You
dog.
stay home.
My house, I make money, you stay.
Yeah.
That is not...
tough.
No, nigga, that was it.
I said I was a
A
little
lot
bit...
of women would love that.
I said I
lifestyle.
was a little bit more old-fashioned, right?
Okay,
But
call it what you want.
what I will say is that evolution took place where, you start to realize that's not really what you want. Like, and now I'm seeking that equity in a relationship because to me, then I don't have to worry. Hopefully, I don't have to worry about this reciprocity, and what I'm giving is as good as I'm getting, right? And so that's what I'm seeking now more than anything is that shit right there.
Let me piggyback off that real quick. Let me say something real quick. So like in relationships that I've had with like women who are professionals, who have their own career, who have their own goals, like I enjoy going to grab some dinner, hanging out and talking about like
that shit,
adult shit. Like what your goals are, what your plans are. Like if you ain't doing shit all day and you ain't got shit to do tomorrow, what the fuck we talking about? No, seriously. Like, what are we talking about? Like, I'm looking at your pretty, boring-ass face all fucking day. I need you to bring something in order for me to be interested in talking to you. Otherwise, I'm going to find a bitch that's more interesting. That's what's going to happen. As bad as you may look, I'm going to find a bitch that's more interesting. And I think a lot of women don't understand, and maybe a lot of dumbass niggas or low-class dudes they fucking with, that matters to them. But when you're talking about a high-level man, you're talking about a professional man, the fact that you're pretty is good, but there's a lot of pretty smart bitches out here too. Right, so what do you bring into the relationship?
Yeah, I think it comes totally. I 100% agree with you, but also agreeing to the fact that we all have our superpowers and like we've all bring something to this relationship. When I think about, even my relationship with y'all, right? Like I wouldn't be friends with y'all if I wasn't benefiting from it. Right? Like you guys bring laughter to me. You bring me great experiences, things that I can't give myself.
Word.
Right? So to that end, I'm like, okay, if I was only looking at this financially, I'd have been out of it a long time ago.
Right.
Damn.
But
That's real. That's real. That's real.
And Paul, I did my best.
That's real.
That was a little deep. That hurt me.
I know.
Shit.
I'm fucking with it.
I mean, look, I don't say it to demean or shame in any which way, but when I look at my wife, I'm like, what I do financially, you're incapable of doing it.
Yeah.
Right? But
I've never heard incapable.
We're not going to be sensitive.
No, we're not sensitive at all.
Wifey.
And that was not even disrespectful at all. But boy, when you said incapable like that with your chest,
That was
incapable felt tough.
Then let me finish.
It all makes sense now.
Let me finish the statement, because what I'm saying is what I do is you're incapable of doing financially. Now, the element that my wife brings to this that I could never touch is the way she treats people when they come to my house. And so I always say to my wife, I'm like, I get us here, you make it beautiful.
And I have another question too about equity, and y'all niggas ain't gonna like that shit when I flip it.
I want to answer the question before you move forward.
I will. So, please talk on it.
So, in my opinion, I want to agree with PC. I thought I wasn't going to, but I do. I think wherever someone lacks, the other person should pick up at, and then that's how you have a good relationship. So if it isn't financial, then the emotional thing your wife carries, or vice versa if the woman is the breadwinner. I think both parties should work always, because I think your life should never just be your relationship or your family. You have to have something that separates it. And even friends can be considered like family. So it becomes meshed as one. You don't only have a relationship with your friends when you have kids. Your friends usually know your kids, especially when you're married, you're in that situation. So you need that work balance. Like, okay, these are my work friends. They may not really know my family. They say they see pictures and shit, but like, that's it. That's my family. Y'all my work friends. That's it. But I think it's important that anywhere, any relationship that you have, even with friends, where you're lacking, the other person should have.
Yeah, but see, you talking about lacking. Tell me, and you speak to this too, Des. What if she's doing the cooking, the housework, and taking care of the kids, and you're just doing the financial management? Technically,
I mean,
one
if you
could
come
say
home,
that's not equity. That's not your fair share. That's not
It's not,
50-50.
but-
You know what I mean? Because those tasks aren't one and the same. So to me, where I think fair share is, that's why I asked you, is 50-50 realistic? Because we should all have equal share, a fair share
of everything.
So now we have to start talking about a fair share and what that is and how that's different, obviously, between every couple. And what you deem fair is, what we agree upon. But the reality is, I wonder if anything is truly 50-50, because I'm willing to bet there are situations. Yeah. And I want that though, Paul.
Measurable.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not everything is measurable.
Yeah.
So you can't have really anything being truly 50-50.
I think you can, though, with these things that we split up, that we itemize right here.
Only if you're sitting there measuring each one.
Yeah.
Right?
I think the
Again, it comes
50-50 is
back
what you
to
feel.
what I
It's
said
not
about my
measurement.
relationship
Yeah,
with
agreed.
y'all.
I agree with
So
that. I
we
feel like
need
if
to
you're
have a
comfortable
relationship. Not in the right
and
place.
happy, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree with that. And
Because I was going to say, look, if you guys told me, ooh, you have to be at this thing in person, right? I'd have been like, well, shit, I'm going to buy a ticket, jump on a plane, and get down there. I want to be there with my own voice, right? But if I'm only sitting there watching the cost associated with it, then of course I'm never going to find it to be equal.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was your point with that, Joey? I mean, with Jeezy, I mean, look, the bottom line is, when I say 50-50, and that's why I tried to get some clarification when you first asked the question. I didn't preface it by saying she has to make the same amount of money as me.
No,
right?
and I know that.
Right. And so I think, I don't know if it was you or PC that made a comment about the fact that if you're the breadwinner, somebody's cooking, cleaning, raising the kids, then that's not 50-50. I think people would argue with you. I don't think that's the consensus.
True. And that's
right?
what the fair share came up.
Right. Yeah, I don't think that's consensus. So I think if a woman if she is making sure, right, the dude's going to work and he's making bread, right? But his lady is paying the bills out, making sure the bills get paid, right? She is cooking, she's taking the kids to practices, she's washing clothes, she's mopping floors. Like, who's to say that's not 50-50?
But you know what? And that's the thing. Because I was feeling like maybe she was getting more of the work than you, and I was really giving the woman the edge in that situation. I feel like those are more of an abundance of duties versus I go to work. And there are situations too where men and women both work, and she's coming home and she's dealing
still having
more
to
with
do
the
with all
house
of that,
shit.
yeah.
But I don't
more than he is too, and that's fucked up as well.
But I don't think
and
the task.
that's not 50-50.
I don't think that the amount of tasks completed, it defines who's working harder, right? I'll use this analogy, right? So if you're the vice president or president of the organization, right, you're not faxing, typing, and doing as much shit, task as frontline associates, right? As frontline employees. But you make more money because you have more responsibility, right?
Yeah.
And so I think responsibility comes stress, becomes expectation, right? And just like you expect your wife or your girl to do all that shit at home, she expect that check to come in every fucking 2 weeks
and pay the bills
right?
that keep it going.
So I think it's
Great point, though.
Saying,
I agree. Great point. I
At a
can't
deeper
argue that.
level is what's really valued. What people will pay for is what happens from the neck up. What is a commodity?
No, niggas pay for
is
pussy.
what happens from the
All
neck
the
down.
time. I done bought a lot of pussy in my life. Paid for a lot.
I think men in general buy
Some
pussy.
quite expensive.
I think that you can't really, when you start putting a percentage on things, people always think financially, like you guys were saying. But when you look at it like that, like in a percentage level, who's giving more? What am I doing more or what am I doing less? You start thinking that it could always be better. And that's a bad outlook to have on certain situations, because even in life, if you always have that mindset, like, it could be better, it could be better. Look, we all really know that.
Yeah.
You know that your situation can always be better because it's not its best all the time. You can always have better. It can always be better, but it's not right now. So why don't you live in the moment and love it?
Check.
And love it. So I feel like that's what the issue is here in the conversation, is that, like, you can't really look at something with that outlook and be truly happy, because what the fuck are you comparing it for? Why are you comparing if you're giving it your all the other person you feel like is giving it their all, or you guys are both trying to make each other happy, then live in the moment.
I can kind of
Right.
agree with that shit.
And I think that's how you find the silver lining, is when you start to look at things three-dimensionally and you say, okay, there's the past, there's the present moment, there's the future. And, you know, the person that's going to be looking forward to the future is thinking to themselves, yep, it can be better, right? But at the same time, if they could get comfort in the fact that they're doing the best that they can in this present moment to get them towards the future. All right. So I think when you look at things three-dimensionally, yes, you could get to that place where you're like, all right, I'm good right now.
Yeah, I think if you don't, on a different twist to it, I feel like if at the end of the day, you should be able to sense what you're doing in the relationship. And if you feel you're not giving enough and you're not doing your part, you should feel guilty. And if you don't feel guilty, you ain't shit, you know?
I think,
Simplify.
Is that what that means?
and hey, listen, I ain't mad
because you
I ain't
know
mad
you're
at
not
that.
doing your part. So,
I ain't mad at that
you know,
commentary
keep
at
it
all.
real with yourself. You know what I mean?
And I think what dissolves all this is going to be, man, sitting down and really laying out what the expectations are. I mean, I've started to incorporate this kind of this performance evaluation, you know, semi-annually, when we actually will sit down and really talk about how we moving, right? And recalibrate and giving us an opportunity to really set the expectations for each other. And if you set the expectations, how are you gonna argue about, you know, percentage and volume where you just laid out that I'm gonna sit here and do this and you're gonna sit here and do that and we agreed on it? Bitch, we can't be mad, especially if we continue to recalibrate on that shit too.
I totally agree. I mean, to put it in a sports analogy, because I think we think better that way, right? I think what you're saying by setting those expectations is saying, look, we playing zone defense, and here's what your coverage zone is, right?
True.
And if you fuck up on your coverage, I'm going to call you on it. Not to shame you, but to correct it for the next time, right? And if you don't want to have that conversation, well, then you're not trying to help our team win.
Yeah, I'm going to foul you.
Yeah.
That's all it is. No, but it makes sense though, man.
That's all you do on the court, too.
That's not true, man. I slide my feet. Don't do me like
that. But no, I wanted to talk about equity a bit from a more superficial standpoint.
Tell me about it, baby.
Because there are things that I think every man wants in a woman. I know this is a bit off subject, but I don't give a damn.
It sounds,
You know we do that.
It sounds
I
great.
know, right?
I've been waiting for it.
And I think if we don't get these things and we're giving them, then we feel cheated. And if you are in a situation where you feel cheated, you know, it's not gonna end well. It's not gonna end well.
I'm interested to know what you're talking about. What are you referring to?
So, to me, reciprocity in every way. You know, women will love emotional reassurance. Give your man that. Provide that. Emotional intimacy. Provide that safe place where he can speak. Where he can, you know, be himself, security, and that's, you know, emotional security, and maybe, you know, bring some money to the table too. You talked about that earlier, Gent. Nigga can't be paying for everything. You know what I'm saying? I love it when you go out with a woman and she says, "I got this." Like, damn, that's how you doing? You treating nigga today? Like, and as a man, I think, you know, a real nigga, you're used to doing it, so you expect to. So it's very refreshing when a woman offers.
At what point do you get there, though?
As far as what?
Like, at what point do you feel like she should be doing, like, you would like for that to happen?
I've had first dates where a girl said, "Let me buy that."
So
let me get
I've done
like,
that, but
yeah.
I do that when they're my boyfriend. I don't do that for, hell no, you want my attention. You want to hang out with me.
So you
You're
don't
trying to
want
fuck
his?
with me. You want to, I mean, if he approaches me, then he should be working for my affection. Because at the end of the day, your goal is
You
set.
know, I'm
I feel like
glad
it's a
you said
one-way
that.
street
Oh, I'm so
of what
glad.
you
Disagree
want
with
when
that?
they start off, right? You want to, and then it turns into emotional.
I do.
So when it becomes emotional, that's when you guys become in a relationship. So once you get emotional and I'm connected to you, hell yeah, I'm going to take care of you.
You know
I
why?
want you to know that I fuck with you like you fuck with me. But at the beginning, I don't really fuck with you like that. So
Goddamn.
you got to figure it out.
You know why I disagree with that, and I think there's nothing wrong with the woman doing it on the first date. What's your goal here? Are you dating with intention? Did you meet this nigga and say, this nigga is good looking, he came at me right? Who knows? The Bible says he who chooses a wife. I'm not going to get biblical on y'all, but my point is, y'all can't keep saying you want a good nigga. Nigga holler at you, you meet him, everything's good, the vibe's this. He has his shit together, and you go out to dinner, and you don't feel confident enough to say, I'll pay for the drinks, I'll pay for this, I got you. Don't worry. You're thinking about what he has to do to gain your attention. Nigga don't gotta work. Y'all should be working to gain each other's attention. If y'all working towards a relationship and a partnership, what does it matter who a partner? You're entertaining because you're interested and because you're interested.
What if you don't like him like that after the first date?
Then why'd you put in?
If you have after the first date, yeah, exactly.
Okay,
we're talking about the vibe is good. You're making it seem as if there's rules to where I gotta wait to do this or wait to But if the vibe and the connection is real, it shouldn't matter if it's the first date.
That's your
you don't
outlook
gotta
on
go
it.
together.
And my outlook on it, that is the way that I live, and those
totally
are my
agree.
expectations. So
and that's fine.
I
But
deal
to
with
me,
people that have the same expectations.
That's fair.
And that's fair. But a man made this on a post. I heard him the other day. You're almost selling yourself. It's almost like saying you're for sale because you're worried.
I'd rather be an expensive
and I
piece
heard
of...
that. And I heard that. But to me, really,
Wu-Tang.
if you look at the bigger picture, you're expensive. Nigga, I pay that $150 for dinner and fuck your ass in 2 dates if that's what you call expensive.
but that's not
But a
what
nigga
it
can
is.
play you like that if I want to, though.
No,
you can try
seriously,
to. It's
come
not-
on.
if you wanted to, you can
My
try
bad. Let me
to.
back down.
But the woman
I'm gonna fucking keep it real,
to.
all right? And y'all know I don't turn up like this
Look,
often. I'm gonna
you're
keep it
giving
real.
me the tone.
Actually, you do, but it's all good.
No,
You're like,
I'm
what's
gonna
personal?
keep it real
I
with
was
you.
like, damn.
I hear what
It
you're
ain't you.
saying, but
It's
you're not
one
being
sec. It's one
entirely
episode.
realistic. And I get it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the niggas that you typically deal with, but I know I'm gonna assume you're not used to dealing with good-looking niggas who are educated, who are financially stable, who has... I'm going to assume you're not used to dealing with niggas who have a universal vibe and everything is good from the moment you... Nigga take you out, got chivalry, and all that shit good. Because there's no way a nigga can present that and put it on the table and you talking about, you got to work to gain. No, because you're going to let that pass up because what? You so fucking
On
great.
pride,
Get
on
the
pride.
fuck
That's
out of here. That's the dumbest shit I ever heard.
But I've never been in a situation
I'll
where a
back
man
down.
allows me to pay for something, actually. I go out with people. I don't pay for dinners at the beginning of it, but I do go out and I'm like, you want a drink? I'll get us a shot. I'll get us a drink, whatever. Something minor.
That's actually,
A lot
that's
of
all
the
I'm
times,
saying, though.
I think that's
men
fair.
don't
Yeah,
let
that's
you
fair.
pay for that. So what I'm
that
telling you is
person.
what I'm used to is a man not allowing me to pay for something. So why offer if I'm going to get turned down from doing it anyways?
'Cause
The
niggas-
gesture,
Waste my
nigga.
fucking
The
Niggas
money.
gesture.
the niggas
Why
still want to
offer?
hear that, though.
Oh, come
They wanna
on.
hear it.
Come like the
man.
gesture
The
sometimes.
gesture
That's
means
nice.
everything. And
All right,
honestly,
well,
we're
then.
not in disagreement then.
I'm not
because
your
if
type.
what you said then,
That's real
I
too,
hear
though.
you. That's
That's
real.
real too.
But if what you said as far as getting a drink after, dinner or whatever, that's actually all I'm talking about. Because
Yeah.
I would
You were
refuse.
screaming like I was
No,
about
but
to get
all
my
I
passionate.
said
Just
was,
passionate.
all I was saying
Real
was to be
passionate. I
able
said,
to
hold up.
contribute
Do I gotta raise
to
my
the date
voice?
and be able to
No, no, no.
spend
We're
your
50-50ing it.
No, yeah, well, I mean, I ain't fucking you, so not really. But you know what I'm saying? I should be able to, realistically contribute. You should be able to contribute to that vibe, and that's all I'm saying.
It's just showing.
if you're
It's
feeling the
honestly
vibe.
just
So did
it's
I
showing
just
genuine
answer your
effort.
question?
I actually agree with you. I like
Okay.
that. You know,
It's nice, like, I
pay
like
for
you. It's
dinner. Yeah,
fine.
nobody ain't paying for my dinner. First date too. I like to make an issue, a statement. Excuse me. So. No, I was just talking about, if we
It's
go
the
out
it's
afterwards.
truly
and
the
get a drink.
reciprocation of
Okay, but-
effort.
It's
That's
the
all it is,
gesture.
dog.
Right,
the money.
the effort of the whatever the activity is, not necessarily the effort equally financially. So I think that ties
Yes.
back into our original argument where shit can't be 50-50 completely unless you're talking about money.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I
what's
think
really
I'll tell you,
50-50?
like-
I mean,
The effort was in that
the
case.
effort
and
is
the
not
thought.
50. Yeah, the thought
Yeah.
is 50-50, and that's it. So you react on like emotion, like, damn, they did. That's nice. That's
Yeah.
sweet.
That's
And the woman
big.
says, that's sweet. He wanted to take me to dinner. He showed me a good time.
Yeah.
If you fuck with somebody, you're gonna be like, okay, let's hang out. Let's do something after.
I
And if
agree.
we're out at a bar, I'll be like, I got the tab. That's $20.
Yeah.
Maybe 30. You know what I mean? Like, it's nothing. But I don't look at it like the way that you guys are presenting it. I thought you meant, okay, dinner, whole date. No, you could do minor things at the beginning, but I'm also not going to be like, well, look, babe, I'm going to take you out to dinner.
You ain't
Then I'ma
tricking
take you
nobody.
I ain't
I hear
tricking
you.
on no
Yeah,
bitch.
I know you ain't tricking on
No,
that.
no, no,
You know,
no, no.
like, I'm not
And-
doing that. So
No,
I'm telling you,
no,
I don't
respect
trick
that.
off
I respect that.
until I got what I want. So if I
respect
got
that.
everything I want, then I'm going to trick on you. Then I'm going to say, okay, you deserve something.
Ugly bitches
You get
trick.
this. So
That's tough.
No. Can we call a number, Des? Though five. sevens and belows will trick?
No, 7
Six
below.
and belows?
I wouldn't know.
Six.
No, I don't know.
I wouldn't know.
I don't know. I was just trying to put a number on it. I
I
have
feel
no
like
idea.
fours trick
I just
off.
don't-
I feel
I
like
don't
a
deal with
five
fives,
still has a
so-
nice body,
No, I
so
don't
they
deal
get
with fives.
attention.
Fives could have a nice body to
You
her
know,
point.
fives with a good body.
They
may
and
go
not
Dutch.
Really
I've
tricking
had
off.
eights. I've had eights paid for
Stupid.
dinner the first day.
We've had eights and outs. Yeah, but
That's 50-50
special niggas.
in
Yeah,
another
and
language.
surprisingly, when she pulled down, I was like, I turned my head and she paid. I was like, damn, girl, don't do it like that. And she was too bad for that shit. You know what I'm saying?
You said
Like,
you're an 8. Why are you doing this?
no, I didn't. But in my mind, I was like, girl, you too bad for that, girl. Like, boy, you earned this meal just stepping out the house today. You know what I'm saying? So, but
That's funny.
so with that,
I don't know about y'all, but I think, one of the subliminal messages that I've passed along, from the very beginning is that I'll tell you and I'll do anything up front to sleep with you. Like, and I
Wow.
don't really want to get to know the spirit of the person until I cut.
God damn, man.
And
there's a lot of men that have that mindset.
And that's
too.
why I said,
I'm not trying to be an asshole. What I'm trying to tell you is this is who I am.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sexual chemistry matters
like,
to you,
if
physical
can't deal with
connection.
that, then you can't deal with that. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm telling you is I know that if I want something from you, you can't I'll hang around for 3 years until I get it. And then once I get it, I'll decide whether I really like you or
That's
not.
too long. That's too long.
Damn, 3
Wait,
years?
3 years. I don't know what.
And you know,
made
Dedicated.
I'm the king of the long
Consistency.
game.
That's not really that long because you're assuming that that's the only person he's hanging around.
No,
Dead
I
ass.
know
True
that
statement.
he's not.
True
I know
statement.
that
True
he's
That's
not.
the point. It's like, look, if you think you're gonna hold out on me, I'll outweight you.
Oh,
if
yeah.
I really
I
want
don't
it that
think-
bad.
Yeah, women don't do that. He's
Women
still
can't
fucking.
outweigh.
He's
Yeah,
still
you cannot
fucking.
outweigh
Just
a
not fucking
nigga.
you.
It's just
No, but I feel like there should be a good amount to at least get to know someone on the basis. Like, you need to know at least my favorite color.
There are
Like,
women
damn,
that
get
fuck
into conversation
on the
a
first
little
date,
bit.
and there
For
are
sure.
there are women that fuck on the first date, and there
There's
are
nothing wrong with that either, though.
Hell no.
It's just, it's what other people expect. And a lot of times, okay, if there's nothing wrong with that, which I agree there's nothing wrong with
Yeah,
it,
there
we're all
isn't.
grown.
Yeah.
But why do some men judge women on things like that?
No,
suckers, they suckers.
there are
Like,
men who
sometimes
marry
there's
that
men-
woman.
Right, but there are men who say they would never marry that woman too, which I don't get. I think you should marry
And that's
somebody
where
if you
men-
fuck with
certain
them.
men are
Like,
just shallow as fuck.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
shallow as
yeah,
fuck.
Like,
yeah.
we just,
Yeah.
we gotta call it what
Yeah,
it
we
is,
gotta
you
keep.
know
We're
what I'm saying?
grown.
He's like 8 years old. in his
Because
head
you
or
can
That's what they
fuck
tell
and
their
have a
homeboys, though.
connection physical, and that's how it started. And damn, the next day you woke up when she made you them eggs, just how
Like
you
fuck
like them.
buddies turning
Y'all had a
into
great
something
conversation.
serious.
You was like, damn, this hoe actually turned out being cool, and I
This hoe-
already fucked her.
I wish
You know what I'm saying?
I wish I could fuck someone on the
It's
first
determined.
date. Like, I've never been able to do
Yeah,
that, dog.
It takes a
I've never been able to
it's
have a
different
one
type
night
of
stand
confidence.
or fuck someone on the first date. Yeah,
I think
can't.
that's why a lot of men like to hang out after. I'm just saying, if y'all want some tips,
Yeah,
go
sure.
to the club, get a drunk. Y'all vibing. People
You don't
are
want that
always
drunk pussy though. You don't
no,
want that.
but not on the first time. But you can get the drunk makeout.
I'm too big.
Drunk
to get drunk
makeouts are
pussy. I've
good
been-
because that's
I-
the best
I
way
enjoy
to
that.
break that
Me too.
that awkward moment when you're like, okay,
You
are
like
we
the
gonna kiss or are we
inhibitions?
gonna make out?
Here's the thing.
You gonna make out if you're drunk. You just gonna kiss
But
if you're
here's the
sober.
thing though.
Dads
If-
like to
if-
make out.
Here's the thing
can
though.
tell.
Here's the thing though.
Hold on,
Here's the
you
thing,
talking
though.
about me?
Yeah.
So if your vibe, but here's the thing though. If your vibe is right, and I know we overuse that word, but we all know what that is. 'cause
Yeah.
we use
Yeah,
that frequently.
yeah, we know what it
And what
is.
I mean by that is, if you can carry a conversation, if you're reliable, you're presentable, you are a good date, you're a good person. She's hanging around. You don't need no weed. You don't need no drinks. All you need is you.
Sure.
Yeah.
And like I could tell you, the vast majority of
helps.
pussy I've gotten hasn't been any weed or drugs, anything involved in that. It's been straight up conversation.
All off a vibe and
And the
a-
drunk pussy I've got, it's always made me scared or nervous the next day.
One thing, you're right. And one
Always.
thing I hear from
wanna know
women
why, though,
more
but-
than anything is
Why am I sore? I don't know.
Okay,
what women
so
value.
far you got them drunk as fuck.
For real, nigga. She
Like,
blacked
fuck.
out like that, nigga.
Like
What
that
the
on the
hell?
first
How am I
date,
sore?
Jesus.
God damn.
God damn. He
How did I
said
get
another
home?
one, another shot, another
God
shot.
damn.
Fuck it.
You,
It's Friday.
well, NBC need to watch you, nigga. I don't know what's going on.
Typically, I'm with y'all niggas. I'm just saying.
Don't use me as no alibi, nigga.
I
He
just
wasn't.
said,
He
I'm
wasn't
going by
never.
myself. I'm going by myself.
I just want to let you know I was home and I know someone who was there with me.
What you were saying, Jizzy?
I can't remember what I said. You started getting so creepy. I felt unsafe, nigga. I was like, God damn, nigga. I'm
No,
not.
I'm definitely not creepy.
In my opinion, I'm an introverted extrovert when I meet a lot. Like,
Explain
as you
that.
guys can see, I'm friendly.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable. But now, I got comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
you-
when I first walked in, I was like, okay, let me say hi to everybody, get myself kind of in my position, and be
you
like,
did.
okay. A lot of times when you're dealing with somebody you're interested in, you're nervous too. Like, and also you really don't know how much you want to share with somebody. So sometimes that shot or like that glass of wine, that puts you on your level where you're like, okay, I'm having fun. I'm comfortable now. Like, if you have that,
I'm gonna
and then
tell
you're
them about
so
that
awkward,
threesome I had
be
last
like,
year.
yeah.
What's the
you know, this is
boldest
what I'm
thing you've
into.
shared on a first
Right.
date?
Me?
Yeah, let's hear it.
I don't really, honestly.
You what?
You got an example. She's thinking of one. She don't know
I'm
what
trying to
No,
think of an
it's already there, but
example,
she
but-
don't want to say
She's
it.
like, not that one.
I'm like, nah, next one,
say
next
it.
one, next one.
You got one, Jeezy?
Yeah, I've been on
Lisa's
the first
thinking, y'all.
date, and the chick told me she masturbated right before she came.
Damn.
You know, right to meet me, she was like, "I just need to get the edge off."
Is it off a picture that you sent prior?
No,
No, it was for her. This
That
to
would've
be
been
it
loose,
was
right?
just her. Just
But it
to
would have
be
been
loose.
great if she had said
She was
that.
like, "Yeah, can we get a drink?" And I was like, "Girl, you all right?" She was like, "Yeah, I just,
Just rub
I
the band.
rubbed one out, right?
Masturbated.
I rubbed one out right before it.
yeah."
That'll make your work a lot harder.
Well, you sound real judgmental right now.
Oh, no,
and I know your
no.
your previous life, nigga. Don't come at me like that now.
But you talking about us talked about sex, nigga. What else do you talk
No,
about?
no,
nigga?
I talk about a lot of things. See,
Are
that's
you
where
the
y'all
whore
slip
of the
up.
group?
Nah.
That's what they're saying.
No, but
Basically,
it's
you know.
it's a little bit of hoe in everybody.
Is there?
That
Come,
is.
come on, girl. Yourself included. Don't stop it, please.
I don't know. I feel like,
you meet
you
the
know-
right nigga, that dick be down your throat in
That's
no
a lot.
time.
Shoot, that should happen in a regular, like your existing relationship, and a little hoe come out and she be like, "Who the fuck are you?"
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think I'm the biggest
no.
hoe once I start dating somebody because you can. It's like fuck it.
I'm going
You
all
want
in.
peace? Yeah. I mean, that's
I
when
like
you
that.
get comfortable. You have to be comfortable
We wait for that
sexually
time.
with
We wait
somebody.
for that moment right there.
That's the best moment because then it's like fuck it. What you want to try?
Yeah.
You're down to do anything.
That's why.
Why do you think people started doing anal?
Oh
Be
yeah.
realistic.
Yeah, it had to be love.
Because that shit was not off of the feeling.
Yeah.
I
Because the
appreciate
first
you,
time
Big
it's a
M.
rough.
I appreciate
It's
you
a
out here.
rough, like, you know, transition into that. I will say I'm
gotta-
not a fan of it.
Nah,
but I am a
don't
fan
say
of.
that though. Don't say
I'm
that.
not. I've tried it a few
You like them
times. I
chocolate
like it.
milkshakes though, Robbie. So
But
You got to meet the right
Listen,
person. It won't be
I like
that.
I like a good little, you know, I like to get my ass ate.
Yeah,
I'm
I
fine
bet.
with that.
I can see that.
I like
I
a
like
little
eating
booty
it.
play, but
Her
I
ass
don't
eating.
I don't like it all the way in. Like, don't do that.
Don't
Just-
put the
Just
full
play
tongue in
around
there.
it, yeah.
You
like,
don't.
don't
You
do
don't
it.
want the tongue all the way in there.
Okay, I'm fine with the tongue all the way in there because it's not the whole thing.
I low key
It's
want to
such a
ask
different
Gent,
feeling,
but then
and
I don't
it's
want to know the
smoother.
answer.
And
No, you can
it's
ask me
like-
though.
No, don't.
It's
Don't
smoother
you dare
and
give
it's
me the
already
answer.
like
Please.
easy to go in. It's not gonna feel like
Yeah,
your dick.
you're right.
It's gonna
No, you
feel
all
like
the way
a
there.
tongue.
Lisa,
Like it's fine.
Lisa, let me ask.
I'm so
If
passionate
your
about
man
this right
said, you know what, that's
Oh,
the
you're a
part
fellow
I
ass eater.
love.
now. Yes.
go ahead,
If
PC.
your man said, look, I love it anal, right? Like that's the most
I'm gonna try it.
to me that's satisfying to me and everything like that. Would you go so far as to try to find a way to enjoy it for him?
Shit, that'll be like a occasional thing. Honestly, I'm telling you, I've tried it a good enough times to know that it's not for me. So I don't
That's
want to. I'm not
unfortunate.
gonna do
Then
that.
PC, it's not gonna work.
Let me challenge you a little bit
Go
on
ahead.
that. Let me challenge you a little bit on that, right?
I like how you're such an advocate right now, P. You know what? I'm gonna send my political contributions to you later, dog. Don't worry. Go ahead, man.
Ask your question, PC.
I want to challenge you on it because what I'm saying is here's what gives me pleasure, right? And I realize that might be a little bit uncomfortable for you and everything like that. But if you could try for me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
he
to
been
me,
there before.
that-
But she
I
said
mean,
she would.
I'm saying
She said
I
she
would
would.
try,
She said she would.
but it's
But
not gonna
he's
be an
saying
every
he
night
needs
thing.
it regularly.
No,
You're
it's not gonna
saying,
happen.
what are you
That's
saying
selfishness
on
then.
special
That's what I'm
occasions?
saying.
I'm
That's-
saying, yeah,
that's
on
where the
special occasions, I'll do
selfishness comes in.
exactly.
Saturdays?
No.
Valentine's
I
Is that
think
Day,
every
that's
Saturday?
Father's Day.
Yeah, like on
Valentine's
holidays.
Day, Father's Day.
I'm
Father's
not
Day?
getting not every Saturday, once a week. Like what? No.
What's romantic about Father's Day?
President's Day.
Let's just flip it just a little bit, right? And say, you know, that there was something that you enjoyed and he was like, I don't really like that.
I
Like
think a
pussy
lot
eating.
of times women go through that. A lot of times there's men that don't eat pussy.
Still.
Right.
Yes, right? Isn't
No,
that
still
weird?
that
is
I'm
weird.
telling you,
That is
No, it
it's
is.
weird. It's a weird behavior because it's like you want your dick sucked though, right?
But
Yeah.
you
You
know,
want me to
too,
swallow your balls,
do.
right?
Some
so eat
women
my
need
ass
to know-
and eat my
You
coochie. Like,
swallowing
why
whole
not?
balls and
some
shit?
women
I'm
need to
just
know,
saying,
of course.
men like
Respect.
that. Why
No, I'm
not?
just saying
No,
respect.
but
I
some
just
women
didn't
need
know
to
if you had
know
done
it's
like
not that he won't eat pussy. He's just saying that because he don't want to eat yolk.
I've been in relationships
happening
where
too.
men don't know how to eat pussy because they're used to not having to, and they
I
will
agree.
for
Every
me.
nigga's been there.
But they'll
Yeah.
do
You
it.
don't know
like-
until you know how.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Right.
but
And
they'll do it
I
for
think
me
that's where-
here and
Unless
there.
you're
But they don't
Haitian.
do it every single time.
Right.
Yeah, Haitians, we just roll like that. But
Say it.
what I'm saying is like, you know, like if that wasn't my thing, right? Like,
Where's your pussy?
if that wasn't my thing, I would like, because you enjoy it, I will hold my nose and do what I have to do.
You shouldn't have to do
No,
that. So
what
type of girls are you fucking with?
No,
'Cause you
and
shouldn't
see,
have
this
to do
is
that.
what I wanted
She's
to
drinking
bring
too much
up
soda.
too, PC.
Or anything like that.
She's
No,
drinking
it's
too much
like
fucking
there's certain
soda. She needs
things that
to
just make you
take that
wanna,
ACV
you know-
shot in the morning.
But you know what, Paul?
Get that shit clear.
I really respect you for holding your nose in
No,
there.
no, no,
instead.
no. That's the worst. First of all,
Because you ain't eating the
You
pussy right
need
if you're holding your nose.
Yeah, like
he
for
eating the
what?
ass in this case.
Dirty down
In this
there and
example.
Your her
Certain
ass shouldn't smell like that
things-
either.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't want to know. But to me, this is what comes to the down to it: sexual compatibility. I can't get with a girl who wants her ass eaten regularly because I'm not eating your asshole. You know what I'm saying? And equally so, you shouldn't get with a woman who likes anal semi-annually, nigga, because you want the asshole every 2 days. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So that's
that
my
hoe.
point. That's without that sexual chemistry, and that's why I think it's not always wrong to sleep with someone early. If you like someone and you sense a connection, even albeit not deep yet, you know what I mean? If the chemistry is there, I think you do want to test it in some instances to know, because sex is very important in a relationship. And if you don't have sexual chemistry and you like two different things, you don't even want to waste time getting, because you're just creating a friend and you out here looking for, you know, a spouse or a mate or whatever. So I do think sometimes sex early.
It does. That means if she don't like her throat fucked, you're not gonna be very interested in that.
And there's women, you think every woman wants to get abused? Like, can you imagine? Some women are fearful of some shit
Some
like
women
that.
are sweet lovers.
Yeah,
like
man.
they
I don't
like
like
to be
them.
caressed.
Yeah.
Like
Dog, and there's some women who want the pussy slow stroked all the time. Oh my God, I hate
Someone
that.
in the
Oh my
salsa.
God, I fucking hate that, dog.
I think when it
Take your
comes to-
time,
I'm trying-
bitch.
Would you say PC?
why are you
Sorry.
rushing?
Would you say PC?
Man, I wasn't even going
I
fast.
was just saying, I think that's where it comes down to. If I say I love you, I'm willing to do things to try to please you. And I expect the same vice versa. Right? Like,
Well, you don't
and
love
so-
somebody off the first couple of fucks.
Yeah. I don't. You
PC does though.
Clearly.
No,
I said,
nigga, that's
damn, we
you.
gotta introduce him.
That's you. That's not
you.
PC.
Yeah.
Why?
Yo. Not your brother, you.
It's not true though.
No, but
Well, he did say you were a lover,
I am a lover.
you
though.
are.
Yeah, I'm a romantic, endless.
So I think
but he
again,
likes the rom coms.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
a
That's
hopeless
strange.
romantic and a
Right?
savage at the same time.
Hopeless romantic. All hopeless romantics are really hoes. I just want you to know that.
Jeezy,
I love.
That's why
get
you're a
it.
hopeless
I love
You
romantic.
get it.
Stop. Did y'all see his bottom lip quiver? Real quick? No, let me check.
I mean, in a previous, it's cold. The vent right here on me. You know, the vent right here on me.
I had a visual of that.
I saw it.
So again, back to the things where I believe equity should exist. Again, space in a relationship. I think that men enjoy space, and I think women do too. And if
You
a
need
nigga
it.
on the video game, you gotta let that nigga be. You know, give him the
Yeah.
space he needs. If she wants to go
Yeah.
get her nails done for the third time this month, you know, let her go do that. You know.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. I mean, I'm a person that I'm like, look, I like to have people around, but like for me, it's like we could be all under the same roof in a 4,000 square foot house, but I like to be in my little corner and know that everybody's there. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to be up under each other for us to express our love for each other.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Respect.
Important. Yeah.
Very, very important.
It's a
that
must.
It's being given on the same level. There should be no imbalance there. I think we can agree on that.
By that, do you mean respecting someone's space or respecting what they're doing when they're not in
think
your
it's
space?
totality.
I think entirely respecting everything about their space, their time. You know, their
I think time is a
feelings.
big one. And feelings. Like that's what really fucks up a relationship. If you don't respect somebody's time in any type of relationship, if you don't respect somebody's fucking time, you're wasting their time and you don't get time back. So then it turns into something deeper. Like you don't give a fuck about my life.
Right.
You don't give a fuck about what I had to do or what I was doing because you just worried about when you wanted to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
You know, balance keeps coming to my mind for whatever reason, so I'm gonna go with it. The importance of balance, it's essential in any relationship. And you talked about friendships early in the game, and even your work place as far as a balance. If you're making the same money and you got way more responsibility, you're not gonna keep that job. You know what I mean? Like You want to be in situations where there is balance, or
Right.
I don't think happiness exists without it.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
You have to feel respected in any situation you are in. So if you're working harder than your coworker and they have the same salary as you, bitch, you don't respect my quality of work.
Yeah.
Because you're paying me what you pay the other guy.
When it comes to making a living and everything like that, I think that's where it does become a lot more selfish in terms of knowing the value of your time. I always say, like, I'm the CEO of my household. And you try in vain to find a CEO that's not trying to grow their revenue and manage their expenses so they could profit, right? So at the end of the day, if you don't value my time the way I do, I'm going to be out, and quite frankly, I mean, my history will show you that. And every single time I change jobs, I make more money. So as far as I'm concerned, my value is going up.
So that doesn't mean you changing hoes too?
Now,
I don't know.
are not valuing
know where
it,
he was
then,
going with
we'll
that.
part ways.
Okay. No, I just didn't know where he was
No, I hear you.
No, but and to go away from money, just any characteristic, anything you bring to a relationship or a friendship, I always tell people I don't judge. It's one of the things I pride myself on not judging, because I know I've done some shit that I definitely don't want to be judged. Okay? So that's the underlying
That's the
reason
truth
for
of it.
my
It's a little
Like-
self-serving, huh?
No, it is. You know what I mean? And to me, if you're in a friendship and you're providing a judgment-free zone, it's important that that friend is giving you the same thing, And recently I dealt with something opposite of that where, I felt judged all while I'm not judging. And I had, just reason to judge away. You know what I mean? And I think that is ruined that friendship for that reason. It's very important that what's being provided in your relationship, you are giving as well.
What about when friends are in relationships you kind of don't believe in or you want them to be in? Let's say abusive relationships or
Of any kind.
of any kind, emotionally, physically. What do you like? It's hard not to judge when you want your friend out of that situation because you don't judge them for that they're a great person. You judge them for what they allow to happen to them, what they allow to take from someone else, because you know that they're better than that. So it's a different type of judgment. It's like, I want more from you. I believe there's more for you and for your life. And all you need to do is make this change. But the fact that you see it needing change but not making the change, it makes me look at you like, what the fuck are you doing?
I don't view it as judgment. I could see how,
But people do.
you would.
I'm saying,
I could
when you
definitely
deliver,
see
they're
how
like,
you
bitch.
would, and I would say it. I always believe in saying what I feel. I always tell people whatever I say to you, I'll say to the person I'm speaking
Oh, for
about.
sure.
So like, I'm that type of person. So if I said it to you right now, I already done said it to that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Or
Like,
if you bring it up, I'm gonna be like, all right, so
this
this is what was said. Do you want to see?
Yeah, I already said it. So
Like, what
to
are you
me,
gonna
I'm
do?
going to say something to that friend and be like, man, I don't think she's the one. And then I'm going to leave it there because it's not my choice. To be a good friend, realistically, is not to judge. It's to give your opinions and have your best intentions. And at the end of the day, we're all adults. We're going to do what we do. You know what I mean? So you just backed off and let it be. And then you're not judging. You're giving your advice. You're giving your opinion with good intentions, and you step back. That's how I would handle it. I wouldn't judge, though.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. If I have a female friend, let's say she is in a physically abusive relationship.
Men are in
I'd
them
say-
too, though.
Word.
You know some men that's...
Say it again?
Hold on. I need to
Getting
dig
slapped
into this
up?
just a little bit
I've
different.
known some men that are in abusive relationships.
Yeah.
Like every time they get in a fight, their significant other puts their hands on them, and it's like, all right, I don't want to hit this person back,
Right.
but they keep hitting me,
They
and
keep
now it's
hitting
starting
their
to
hand. I can't
affect
stand
you.
that
I'll
shit.
wrap
You
her
know,
ass
that's,
up, though.
but some men don't want to do that because they're raised not to do that. A lot of
I
men that come
wouldn't
from
hit her.
like single
Yeah,
mother
I wouldn't
households,
hit
they
her.
don't want to even
Yeah, I wouldn't
touch
hit her.
them. They
Yeah.
just want to. They
I'll
just
wrap
walk
her
away.
up.
They try
Just
to
gonna
leave
wrap her
alone.
up in
But
a
that's
chokehold.
how-
Nice bear hug, nigga.
Oh, bear hug?
Yeah,
Okay.
nice bear hug.
Or sometimes the
Well,
woman starts the physical altercation, the man reacts, but now, the man is looked at as abusive because he's reacting to what was done to him. And sometimes people have their breaking point. Just like women
need
swing
to
back
stop
too.
that shit, though.
But,
Yeah.
right,
They need
because
to
it's
stop that
like
shit.
you're kind of not saying I'm not a victim blamer. I'm not.
Some
because
of them are
sometimes
asking for it
men should
literally.
have-
You gonna hit me?
Right,
Hit me,
but-
nigga.
Men should know if you're stronger, you're bigger. you got to refrain. Walk out the fucking door before putting your hands on somebody.
Right.
But a lot of the times, you know, you're in that heated situation. You start arguing back, whatever. Shit happens. Shit pops off. It only becomes a serious issue, I think, that you can't get past when it happens more than once. When it happens
Niza,
3-4 times, keeps happening. That's a behavior that you already fucking have been doing.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just learn
Niza.
to beat me.
That hoe got to go.
Right.
Nisa, I
Somebody
think
does.
that's where some of this conversation started, though, is that men are physically dominant to women, right? Like, so to the point, you know, like if a man needs to exercise restraint in using their physical dominance over a woman, right? Similarly, I think, especially more recently with the expansion of social media and everything like that, we're beginning to get a greater appreciation for the fact that emotional abuse is as impactful as physical abuse on the person.
Sometimes even
Right.
more.
For sure, because you could say something that breaks somebody's heart and like alters their whole mindset on everything.
Fuck that. They give him
Totally.
PTSD and
that's
every
what I'm
shit.
getting-
Yeah.
That's where I'm getting at, where I'm like, women are better on the emotional side, to use your term, on the subliminal messages that could impact a man in a way that we can't see physically.
Yeah.
Right. And so from my perspective,
Des
I'm
doesn't
like,
agree.
Look, if you are willing to
I'm
use
clearly an
that to
anomaly.
your advantage against a man, you will deserve it if that man uses his advantage against you.
Des, you just haven't experienced that, but that's just what it is.
Well, the thing is, I don't think it's a fluke. Like, I'm not 25, bro. Like, I've been on the earth for a while now. So,
Hold on, because I'm 25.
well, no, but my point is this. My point is,
You still got time to fuck up. But,
right. But my point is, I just, to me, abuse, and I don't know the definition of abuse, right? The literal definition, but to me, abuse is something that is repeated or sustained, right?
Right.
I'm not being repeatedly abused. Like, it's not going to happen. So I'm not like what I'm saying is I haven't not had those experiences because I've quote unquote lucked out with the women I've been in relationships with.
You never
Quite the fucking
tolerated
contrary.
abuse.
The reason,
right.
but the only reason I'm going to disagree with you, I'm not fully disagreeing with you.
It's my truth, nigga.
I know. That's why I said I'm
He
not
knows
fully.
his truth.
You notice I adjusted. I said I'm not fully disagreeing with. What I'm saying is it's different when you're in a normal relationship. Yeah, I think your ability to opt out is going to be much more equivalent to like immediately, right? However, if you were in a situation where you were married and you love this person, there are a lot of men that deal with shit solely out of the fact that they love this person or they had kids by this person, so therefore they're going to tolerate a lot more shit than they normally would have tolerated, and therefore they're more susceptible for repeated actions. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I listen. I know. Let me finish. Let me say something real quick, Paul. I guess what I'm saying is I know there's niggas that do that, and like God bless them. That's all. Like I don't understand it, because my thing is this: I can't love you.
With this,
Hold on one sec. What I'm gonna say is I can't love you enough to put up with bullshit if you constantly give me bullshit.
You just love yourself more and your peace more.
Your happiness is paramount to me, right? And I know that there's a woman out there that's not going to cause me to be stressed out. I'm not going to be fighting with all the time, who's not going to give me shit all the time. Those women exist. So if I got one that's not giving me what I need, I'm not fucking with you. And I'm not going to take a year or 2 years to figure it out and get my fucking feelings hurt every goddamn week. It's not happening. And that's
I can agree with that. I wouldn't be in a relationship I'm in happy.
Foundation,
Yeah, I
right,
kinda
of
disagree with
confidence
that.
in yourself and everything like that.
Is it disagree?
But
A little bit.
I venture to, well, I'm not even going to venture to say, I'll say factually that this is one of those situations that we're not part of the 93%. We are part of the 7%, right, where we have the choice to be confident in ourselves, right? Like, we've got the financial foundation to be able to make a lot of choices on our own and those kinds of things. But I think about the lady that's, look, she doesn't have anything and she needs to be a housekeeper. And she's a housekeeper for, I don't know, like pennies on the dollar, right? And her family is being fed by those pennies on the dollar. We all know that a living wage is like $15 an hour. But if that's the best that she could possibly get, there's a need there that needs to be fulfilled. And so as a result, she is going to take a lot more than somebody that has the choice.
PC,
Well,
I understand, and let me just tell you,
I agree with
I agree with that, yeah.
I
Makes
completely
sense.
understand that shit. And there's people who's making $100,000, $200,000 a year that are doing the same action, and it's
What
not
action?
meaning that they're willing to
Taking shit.
They take shit. And they're taking shit, and it's not because, oh my God, they have the means to do. Yeah, a lot of people have the means to do a lot of shit. But let me just tell you, emotions is a motherfucker. Love is a motherfucker. They don't say love is blind for a reason. They don't make these trite expressions or these cliches solely because they're not true. There are I mean, I know I've dealt with a bunch of shit that I wouldn't deal with again, but the point of the matter is I dealt with them because I loved someone, or I cared so deeply about that person, or I may have had kids by that person, or there's reasons why you're going to deal with some shit that you normally wouldn't deal with.
But
that's all I'm saying.
But let me ask you a question, though.
Whether it's right or wrong or indifferent, you did it.
There's two things, right? There's the realization, the awareness that you're dealing with something that you should have, and then it's the wherewithal to say, I'm not going to deal with it. So you clearly didn't make that decision to say, I'm not going to deal with this, maybe when you wish you would have, and so you dealt with that longer. But you had awareness probably really early. This is some shit I should not be dealing with.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is the difference between me and you is I said, I just said right then, I'm not taking this anymore. You were like, well, I love her, so I'm going to try to do it a little bit longer. And then finally, you came to the same fucking decision I did.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Right. Agreed.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's probably the best way that you said it.
But I think the argument was when they asked you, are you going to fight for something? Because it didn't seem like you had fought for anything to them.
Well, I don't want to fight for anything that causes me to fight constantly. So the answer to the question is, right.
Is it a consistent fight, or
let me say this. Let me say this. And I know this, right? Like, and here's the thing. And we talked about my dad earlier walking away. And nothing, my parents have never gotten in fights. But what I've learned from my parents, love doesn't have to be difficult if it's supposed to be. And I think we put this shit on ourselves where, like, if I really love her, I'm going to deal with her bullshit. But no, there are people who are in relationships with people they love and that love them, and they don't fucking fight. Hey, guys, I'm here. Yeah. You don't got to look very far. They don't fight. They don't argue. They don't deal with bullshit every day. It's a realization. It's not a pie in the sky. And it's something that's achievable. So I think talking about it like it's not does it a disservice.
I agree.
I think sometimes fights are necessary, though.
Negative. They are
you
not.
don't think there's nothing ever to have even a minor argument?
Depends on what you justify.
A conversation. Fight, but I mean a
no.
A
disagreement.
Disagreement. Like a disagreement, that's always going to happen. If you're a normal person, nobody wants a yes man from either side. You want somebody that kind of gives you an interesting conversation. That's the exact reason why I'm sitting here.
A fight is different from a conversation. Now, you said fight initially. So if we're saying a conversation about things we don't necessarily see eye to eye
when
on,
you disagree,
which is what we're doing right now.
Of course.
And I wouldn't.
So it's more a debate versus a fight.
Yeah,
because I wouldn't look at it as a fight.
Some people value fight, or they look at fights different. Like I would call it.
Like, no, but if we're yelling at each other.
Do y'all wanna get it all out?
That's it.
I'm immature. I'm toxic.
I'm not saying you're
marking
toxic.
it.
I'm saying the fact that anybody who feels like fighting is a needed part of a relationship.
I think it's necessary to be able to have that back and forth, because you know where you can test somebody, and you know what you can say and what you shouldn't say, because you really don't know what you can't say to somebody until you say it.
I don't think it's necessary, but I think it's inevitable. That's all. That's the part.
Okay, it's healthy.
Yeah.
I don't think it's...
I think it's healthy too, and I don't agree with your last statement about not knowing what to say is too much. I think you know. If you call a nigga a fuck nigga, you took it too far, bitch. And you didn't need to say it once in order. No, I got what your point is, but my point is, and it kind of speaks to Des, if you're dealing with the right person, there are certain things that you won't deal with. And the best relationships is those disagreements, those discussions, those arguments, they don't even feel like them, do they, Deb? Because it feels easy.
Yes.
So if two people are working towards the same goal, even with that disagreement, even with the back and forth, even
combative.
if someone, it's not. Even if you raise your voice, girl, come on. And she's going to come on. But nigga, you... And when y'all done, y'all hug and kiss. There was no separate. And to
that's
me,
not
a fight.
to me.
That's some good fucking after that.
Yeah, and to me, when you fight is when we walk away and we're angry and we don't want to speak. We don't want to be around each other. A disagreement, a heated discussion. To me, that's love. That's passion. If you can have those and move on.
And to me, that could be the fight that you're looking for.
Yeah, I was going to say,
that might be the fight she's looking for.
Of a fight. I don't want to fight for us not to talk to each other. I want to fight so that, okay, look, I'm telling you, this is how I feel. You're going to understand me tonight. We're going to come to an agreement, and then cool. Because a lot of times...
Okay. You're
going to eat my ass to sleep.
Whoa.
But I'm just saying, like, I feel like sometimes it's necessary
you mad at me? Is that punishment?
Some people, it's like, I mean, that's what you want to do to satisfy somebody.
What did I do?
But I just feel like if people are like passionate enough about each other to even give the energy of a heated conversation that ends up in a good solution, that's a fight to me still. It's a small fight.
Yeah.
It's little, but it's necessary. So you show me you care about that I'm passionate about something because you're passionate about it too.
And this goes to speak
It's
to
emotions
just
into it.
the
You don't have to always-
compatibility again, because and PC kind of said this in a way earlier. If you're dealing with the right person, they get you. You know, and Des, no offense, I love you, but you're an asshole. But guess what though? I get you. And because I
He
get
loves
you,
you,
no,
basically.
seriously, but because I get you, you don't bother me in the least way. Nothing you do can fuck with me because I know who you are and what it's going to be
Hug it
already.
out, bruh.
So when you know someone in that way, then it makes it easier. So if I'm in a relationship and I'm like, damn, girl, why you always, you know, she should know he's not really mad. He's ready. That's how that nigga talk. I heard him talk to his sister like that yesterday. You know what I'm saying? So
I totally
he's going to
agree.
get you, and it's not going to be a fight or an argument. It's just your vibe. It's how you guys, it's his energy, you know?
Do you think
Right.
people can't
I
change
totally
once they're
agree.
set in their way?
I was just gonna say,
They can.
like with D, right? Like the reality is we don't see each other often and everything like that. If I want to fuck up the experience next time we see each other, like let there be not be breakfast around.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Like one morning.
Oh, you know that nigga.
Y'all not
huh?
gonna do me like
It's
that.
like I understand you enough to be like, oh, you know what? Like I don't want this to be a bad experience. So let's make sure we have plans. You know, for
To get
breakfast.
food?
No, perfect
Take it,
example that is today, PC. Des had to turn around, so he was going to be late. That's why we started late. So he texts me because he knows me, right? And that's how friendship is beautiful. And that's how maybe your friendship is lackluster in a bit way, but we'll talk about that later.
I don't give a fuck.
He knows that he could text me, and he knows I'm going to hear, understand, and be like, all right, nigga, we straight. Whereas if he would have texted Gent, Gent might have slapped that nigga.
That way
since-
you wouldn't slap me.
No.
That was a bad analogy.
It was an analogy, but the fact that you gotta defend it, boy, y'all niggas got real issues.
Yeah, we
My point of the
got
matter
angry
is,
issues on
my
this
point of
end.
the matter is he knows it, and so I just think when you know someone, it makes what they do, you look at it differently. And,
No,
and
but
you're able
no.
to,
In the
see it
using that
differently.
same example, we know when Des says, "Listen, I'm like 5 minutes down the road." We know it means 35,
I
right?
do that. I had a legitimate reason. That, though. I had a legitimate reason.
But you know what? Here's a good example. Like when you say you 5 minutes away, like why wouldn't you just say I'm 30 minutes away?
'Cause I'm
you know
black.
What I'm saying? Like what's stopping you?
Black people do that all the time. I had a
Lie.
homeboy that used to do that, dog. He used to call, boy, TD out there. Wherever you at, boy, I miss you. We'd be picking up somebody and they call. He'd be like, man, I'm right down the street. I'll be there in like 2 minutes. I'd be like, damn, we like 20 minutes out, nigga. Why? 20 minutes out? We're so far. And
minutes.
the nigga said, you can come outside.
Imagine how mad he walked outside like,
There's
really?
a lack of respect. I think that's where there's a lack of respect for the other person. Because I'm like, if you tell me you 5 minutes out,
Damn.
like I might not do a
Give a
couple
fuck.
of things that I would have done if I knew you were a half hour out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And
for me, I'm like, look, all it takes is you just being forthcoming about it.
I'm glad you said that though, PC, because I often speak of respect and I get a lot of rebuttals where I didn't see that as disrespectful. So it's funny you say that because I can see how that would come off as disrespectful. But to me, I don't take it as disrespect, right? In that same situation, whereas in other situations, you know, you could say, girl, you disrespecting me. She'd be like, I don't even see it. You know what I mean? I think
Well,
some of that is
okay,
relative.
Let's
perspective.
pull that thread a little bit, right? Because when you say to somebody, hey, I view that as disrespectful to me, and that other person says, well, I don't view it as disrespectful. So where do you go from there?
Nowhere.
Just leave it there? Or do you say, you know what, just don't do that shit to me again, please?
Yeah. I
That's
think in
pretty
that
much it.
situation, you have to, because respect is perspective. So if I tell you this comes off as disrespectful to me, if you care about me and respect me, you're going to change that. You know what I mean?
And
So
that's
you
where
get the
I'm at
pass.
with
Some people
that.
sensitive as
I'm
fuck
like,
too, though.
look, when I
Right.
finish telling you that you did something to me that I didn't like, and if you control it in the future, to me, I'm like, you're a fuck up. You're a piece of shit. You don't need to be around me.
Sometimes you
know what I'm
don't
saying?
need to do that though. Like if someone disrespects your time, they should apologize when they get there. Like a lot of times when I'm running late, as soon as I get there, I'm like, look, I'm sorry. I know I get annoyed when people waste my time. I didn't do it on purpose. I had shit to do, but I'm here now, so let's move forward. People kind of respect
Own
that
your-
because you're
own
like,
your
boom,
shit. Own your
you
shit.
own it up. You got it out. You know that I was kind of pissed, but I'm not gonna be mad no more.
Owning your
'cause you
shit
said
is so
sorry.
important, though. That's
but
all.
I think that's especially true when you know the person like that is maybe gets a little bit anxious about time, right? So I think that's where it's like general courtesy will be like, oh yeah, just apologize and justify yourself. But when you know the person gets all anxious and shit, that's where it's like you have to take that extra
be
step.
proactive
Like, well,
instead of reactive.
Agreed.
I always say that you have to be proactive instead of reactive. If you know something you can prevent it, you should do the things to prevent it. And that being said, I just have to repeat, be fair, provide balance. Do your part. 50-50 is possible. Create your version of 50-50.
True.
Okay?
True.
Equity is the only way in your relationship if it's going to work, y'all. You know, we just want to thank Niza again for coming through. If
we
you can plug your
appreciate you.
podcast again.
Yes, my podcast is Sorry If I Offend You. It streams on Apple, Spotify, Anchor FM, Google Podcasts, and a few other things. Right.
True.
Anchor. And I also have a merch out, or I have merch out now. I have
Fire
a website.
merch.
Yes. It's Sorry If I Offend You.
My bad. Don't look at me in my eye like that.
Very simple, but I have shirts, hoodies, tote bags, phone cases.
Phone case.
And multiple
You
options.
can step our
You
shit
feel
up.
me?
I said
got
that
options.
immediately.
I got flavors.
Didn't I say that with the phone
check me
cases?
out. And then, of course, always listen to my podcast. Every single Monday, I drop a new episode. So
It's fire, yo.
come a couple days from now, I'm going to have an episode drop. So
it is.
Hey, we
keep a lookout.
appreciate you too, PC, for this engaging conversation
For sure.
that
The
was brought up.
therapeutic
It was
conversation.
brought up during group chat. We men have group chats too, and we go in
I
sometimes.
know.
And it has
It's a
some.
lot of- it's a lot of
Snuck into
pictures,
some
though.
men group
Usually
chat.
it is pictures and busted challenge.
No. Pictures of articles.
Oh,
New York
that
Times.
part.
I don't know what he's talking
Yeah,
about.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
It wasn't nothing to do with the busted challenge. But if we have some really good conversation as well. And thank you, PC, for bringing this, taking the time to come out today. Hey, listen, this Brunch with the Boys. We on everything. YouTube, Spotify, Apple, everything. But we do have brunchwiththeboys.com. Check us out. All our merch is on there as well. Access to all of our episodes as well. And we are sponsoring a new sponsor, which is fire because it's called the Bearded Barber Products. It's an organic beard system, which we are. I know, Des. I know it's hard for you to hear because I know. But I think this product, Des, can make your beard grow. Like you get a full goatee out of this. I
do have a full goatee.
No, you.
All right, if we gonna keep it
I was going to
real,
say,
we got to keep it real.
Yeah.
Anyway, we appreciate the listeners and we love y'all.
You want to
And,
speed past that? But shout out to the Bearded Barber Products. So we're definitely going to get that. Hey, use Free Boys as a code. You get free shipping for all of the products on our site from the Bearded Barber Products. Yeah, man, we just really happy to have everyone out here today, man. This was an interesting conversation.
Oh, yeah, and remember, if you don't want to fuck a fat ass, they don't want to fuck a fat ass either.
Where that came from?
don't do that. He's being disrespectful.
I'm being very disrespectful. I'm speaking.
He's saying
I'm
go to
speaking
the
on
gym?
equity.
Are you
I'm
saying
saying
go to the
tighten
gym?
up.
Girl, don't lose that ass.
I'm
Don't
saying
lose it.
tighten up. That's all I'm saying. If you don't want to fuck a fat ass, they don't want to fuck a fat ass either. You take that however
Some
you
people
want
like
to.
it.
Okay.
Some people
I
like
hear
it,
you.
and that's why they went after it.
We're gonna have to zoom out.
And you know,
right here.
fat ass it's two different meanings there, but okay. Fat
All right,
ass.
man. Brunch with the Boys.
Yeah, coffee and brunch. We could have our conversations over coffee and brunch. Ha.